I'm loving labor. I come from a unionist family, as you guys know, and I was elected to secretary treasurer this time around, and was able to go sit in the hall, the big hall in Philadelphia with the AFL-CIO and sit side by side with people from all over this great country in the labor. It's a movement. We have a president in Washington who has Cesar Chavez behind him, and he's a real labor guy, and got to sit amongst steel workers and auto workers and nurses and teachers and just everybody all over, and felt a little bit like carny folk, as I usually do, but very, very important to be a part of the movement that's going on in the country.
Yeah. Somebody else. Come on, you guys are going to go in there. You have arguments.
Once everybody knows, once I start talking, I don't shut up. So it's like, I'm trying to be nice. There's a few things based on your question. The writers, one of the things that I hear them and read about them talking about is the work that they're asked to do for free. They're constantly asked to do free work.
Yeah.
And then you think about our actors who are self-taping, and they'll get 6, 8, 9, 12, 15 pages and say, oh, we need this by tomorrow. Or you get it on a Friday night and say, we need it by tomorrow morning or something like that. So they are hungry to work and eager to work. And so, but, say you have 2 auditions. Well, how are you going to make your shift as a waiter? If you're trying to put any real intention and quality into what you're doing, which we all do. So, what's really at stake, I think, in the labor movement right now across, like Jolie was saying, the whole sweep of American labor, but certainly in America, in entertainment labor, is just like people being able to make a living doing this. A lot of people can't make a living. There's a few people who work all the time, and God bless them. And then there's other people who are fighting or trying to get in. But then there's a large group of people who are working, and they've just been watching contract after contract after contract. Their benefits, get sort of squeezed. Their money gets squeezed. Their turnaround times get squeezed. They're just getting squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. And now I think mostly because of what David called, what is related, was called streaming video, which is basically like the way everybody experiences entertainment. And there's no continuing financial participation anymore. There used to be residuals, and then that's kind of like, augured in, and now what? So for me, it's very easy to, what did you say? Share privilege?
Lend your privilege.
Yeah. Lending privilege. Because I know that, a well-placed comment in the right meeting, or the right arms folded in a glare in a negotiation, and you can actually help people get their money on time, help people get paid the way they're supposed to get paid. And honestly, when you're at the end of your life and you're looking back, if you can have helped some people like that, that's more meaningful than most of the other things you do in this world.
What would you guys say is the biggest hindrance right now? I mean, there's only so much that people really understand about how things work in terms of negotiation, what goes into making a film, what goes into making a television show, what goes into making a series. There is a lot of time and effort that is involved in that, but the writing component is maybe the most underappreciated of it all. Without the writing, what do you have? People constantly talk about the script is amazing. I believe in what's being written here, and I think I can bring it to life as an entertainer. So who are the people that you would say are definitely standing in the way of doing what is necessary to make sure that those that are putting in the work, as they obviously do at an exponentially high level.
Are you wanting them to name plutocrats?
Well, I mean, name whoever you want. I know Francis won't hesitate.
I was just going to say shareholders.
I'm just saying, are you wanting names? Like, what are you asking?
No, it's, you call it the AMPTP. And it's the studios and the streamers, because they're finding ways to shortcut us and keep all of us from getting residuals when something moves over to streaming. And it's not right.
No. Is there anything like, if everybody were to strike, let's say, is there any sort of support network that you guys have in place for people that will not be able to afford to do so? That's always what I think is one of the biggest problems we have in this country, is we don't have this sense of collective and sense of, if we had the network in place for people to do a general strike, that would be amazing. But people can't afford to do that. That's the biggest problem, is what happens when they walk.
Well, the WGA has 3 different organizations that are already supplying WGA members with help. And SAG-AFTRA has entities in the same way that are set up.
I was just going to say something to the previous question about who is to, where do you locate the responsibility for this? And, the temptation is to say the shareholders or the executives who are making, $150 million while they can't pay the writers $1,500, like whatever the money is. So, but I honestly, I think we may have, as a community, as a entertainment consuming community, a film loving, television loving community, we may have mythologized something in the wrong way. When somebody's gets nominated for a screenplay for an Oscar or something, that the narrative story is like how this person quested for 15 years of their life, clawing and scraping and everything else, and then they finally were able to get. And we love this idea of like what it takes to have these extraordinary stories, and those are there. But we also have an industry, a consistent, persistent, people working day in and day out industry where writers do work all the time. You turn on Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and Apple, and you turn on NBC and you turn on all these things. There's an endless amount of programming that's out there, and there are people who are working on these programs. And so, we eat the wheat that the farmers make for us, and we consume the entertainment that the entertainers make for us. And we have to make sure that the people who are doing the guts of the work get some of the money. And it's really a small amount of the money that they're getting, and they're only really asking for a small amount of the money. So, to me, the corollary for the shareholders, who are these people who only want profit by design, and the public that doesn't understand how things work, is just, you're looking for a little bit of leadership. You're looking for people who understand the game board and are saying, this is a moment where we know what to do, and we know what to do, and now we need your help. And so as people come to vote yes on the strike authorization vote, and as they lean in to understand a little bit about these stories, have a little confidence that your instinct is right. And then as you learn more and more as you go along, you'll be like, oh my God, they're only asking for that. And can I vote twice on the strike authorization vote? Right. Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm from a position where I would like everybody to strike. When we had the possibility of a railroad worker strike, and I'm thinking, ooh, and the UPS workers are thinking too. And if that happened at the same time, but I come from a position where it doesn't hurt me. And so I don't want to be like cavalier about it, but the reality is that this needs to happen and people need to be significantly inconvenienced. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.